Alright, what's going on YouTube? Reezonotticz back once again. Let me just clean that off right quick. Reezonotticz back once again, and what I'm doing is a wrestling update, man. I haven't done a wrestling video in a minute. So after watching last night's TNA Impact, which was January 5th, 2012, the Go Home show before Genesis 2012 this Sunday, and after watching WWE's product quite frequently, as a matter of fact, in the last month and a half or so, I figured it's about time for me to do, an update on wrestling and, talk about how I feel, how the two promotions, or the two main promotions, I should say, are doing. First and foremost, I'll start off with WWE, because I'm not that familiar with them. I am familiar with them, but I'm not as familiar with them as I am with TNA, as I've said before. So let's just start off with WWE. First of all, I gotta say, I really like what WWE's been doing for the last month and a half. And you know me, I'm a TNA fan. I'll tell you straight up, I think WWE on the regular has an inferior product as far as in-ring product and roster. WWE always has better storylines for the most part, better writing, because they have a better creative staff. That's just hands down. They got better production value, and they got pretty much everything ahead of TNA because of the money, the exposure, and the history behind them. But that being said, they have a really good product in the last couple, I'd say, month and a half, 2 months. Really like what CM Punk has been doing over the last 6 months or so, and his character and his mic, his promos, his mic skills are amazing. I am disappointed that I haven't seen my favorite wrestler, who I think still has a lot of gas in the tank, Triple H. I haven't seen him all that often. I think in the last year or so, he's done 3 matches. WrestleMania's Undertaker WrestleMania, which was a classic. The CM Punk no disqualification match, which he won, and the Kevin Nash sledgehammer match, the sledgehammer ladder match at the last pay-per-view. Other than that, I haven't seen him, so I'm kind of disappointed in that. I really don't like Chris Jericho's return. I know a lot of people out there disagree with me, but I'm going to tell you straight up, after watching him in WCW, his whole career, and then to WWE as Y2J and all that, I really don't see what's so special about this guy. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, I really don't. I don't think Chris Jericho is that much of an in-ring talent. I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to him or anybody who likes him. I'm just saying, as a fan of wrestling, I've watched him. I used to love his promos in WCW and early WWE because he was funny, he was entertaining, he has the mic skills, no doubt about that. But as far as people saying, oh, he's such an amazing performer, an amazing wrestler, I don't think so. I really don't. I don't see anything special from him. His skills, to me, aren't over the top like people make him seem. I don't really see much about him to be going crazy over. So everybody went crazy over his return. And then, of course, I knew he was going to do something stupid. And he did. He didn't say a damn thing, which to me was just like, okay, you've wasted a good 15 minutes of my time and my life watching the screen with you walking around going, yeah, baby, and having people cheer, and then you don't say anything. Whatever. Their women's division is horrible. WWE's women's division is horrible. The tag team division right now, they don't really have anything going on as far as that's interesting to me. But I really like what's going on with CM Punk. I like what's been going on with Dolph Ziggler. I'm really impressed with him. I like what's going on with the world title and the SmackDown picture with the Big Show and Mark Henry, and then now Daniel Bryan's in the picture, which I really like. Well, that's pretty much all I can say about WWE. Because I don't watch them as often. As far as TNA goes, I gotta say I am very, very, very impressed with TNA over the last, I'd say, month. And you know me, I'm an honest TNA fan. I've come out here on YouTube and told you guys countless times when I think the TNA is garbage. Even though that's my promotional choice, I'll tell you straight up when I think they're putting out garbage. Right now, that's not the case. I'll tell you right off the bat. What TNA has going for them right now that I think is amazing is they have an emphasis and a focus on pretty much every single belt, with the exception of the TV title, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. But the World Heavyweight title. Robert Roode is a tremendous heel. This guy is doing a great job, and every week he gets more believable and more just pisses you off because of how selfish and how crazy he's gone from one extreme to the other, but he's doing it flawlessly. And TNA is really doing a good job. Sorry, I got the speck here. This is driving me crazy. There we go. TNA is doing a really good job in pushing him as the premier heel in not just their company, in the industry. I think right now he's probably the best heel in the industry, or at least one of the best. And you got Jeff Hardy challenging him. Now, I am not a Jeff Hardy fan. The only time I have ever considered myself even remotely a Jeff Hardy fan was when he had the angle, this is his last run on TNA, the angle about the Antichrist of professional wrestling. I loved it. I thought he looked the part, he dressed the part, he walked the part, the theme music was off the chain, he didn't say much on the microphone, he just went out there and did vicious, crazy stuff. And it was great, and we all know he ruined that. Bygones are bygones, all is forgiven, he's back. Now they're giving him a world title shot, which I don't agree with. But hey, he is a big name, and I understand the putting a big name spotlight type player in the main event picture. I hope he doesn't win this Sunday at Genesis, because that'll just show me that TNA is falling in the same hole of bringing in big names and giving them everything they want right off the bat, instead of making them work for it, making them basically make the company the money back that they're paying them by putting them in a nice build, a nice story, a couple of matches, you know, work their way up to that. We'll see. But, you know, Robert Roode is a great heel, great world champion, and we got a great feud with him now with Jeff Hardy. But aside from that, we have a lot of main event players that are in very good feuds right now. Kurt Angle, the greatest wrestler in the world, and James Storm, who's been a hell. To me, that's the breakout star of 2011 for TNA and pretty much for wrestling. It's both Robert Roode and James Storm, but James Storm even more so. Because before Robert Roode got the title, James Storm had the title. And that was out of nowhere, and it worked. And I can't believe TNA went away from it so quick, but whatever. That's the breakout star of 2011, James Storm. And I think he's shown himself as a singles wrestler as a great talent. Awesome on the microphone. I love his promos. I love his whole cowboy persona because it's old school. You know what I'm saying? I'm an old school baby. I don't like everything doesn't have to be modern and new school and modernized. I like that old school, sometimes that 80s feel. You know what I'm saying? He's got that in the cowboy persona. And him and Kurt Angle right now is gold. The last two matches they've had have been phenomenal. I can't wait for this one at the pay-per-view. So I think they're doing a good job with that. Then we got Abyss. Back to what we want to see Abyss as, the monster. And he's feuding with Bully Ray. And I got to tell you, Bully Ray's another breakout star of 2011. I don't think he's a great singles wrestler by any stretch of the imagination. I think he's pretty mediocre as far as a singles wrestler. But his character, his mic skills, his demeanor, his ability to work the fans is just phenomenal. So him and Abyss in a Monsters Ball match. You got the Monster coming back to form. The Monster, I don't need no more, I don't need nobody. And then you got Bully Ray, who for the last year has been pushed as the biggest bully in the industry, who I'll fight anybody, I push anybody around or not. Oh, this is going to be good. So there you go with that. That's the emphasis on the world title. Then they got an emphasis on the tag titles. For the last 3 or 4 weeks, they've had this wild card tag tournament going on with some really good teams and some really good matches. And you just had the finals last night on Impact with the Samoa Joe and Magnus, which I cannot believe I like. I like that team. I think they finally found something that doesn't make me nauseous when Samoa Joe comes on my screen. Because I've always told you guys, I don't like him at all. I don't think he's a good wrestler at all. I just think he's a fast, fat guy, to be honest with you. But his demeanor and his persona, along with Brutus Magnus, who has kind of the same demeanor and persona, but he's the built dude. It's two different physiques, two different looks, but the same demeanor and the same rough it up style. And the chemistry they have, I think is really great. And yesterday they had a phenomenal match against AJ and Kaz. I didn't like the way it ended. Spoiler alert for those of you who didn't watch it. Kaz basically turned on AJ. Before the match, he was in the locker room, and you could see him shaking his head like in disbelief. And then AJ comes and says, "Hey, yo, it's game time, baby, let's go." And AJ walks out, Kaz gets up and walks out for the match, and all of a sudden Christopher Daniels moves into view. He was in Kaz's locker room telling him something. So toward the end of the match, when AJ really needed Daniels came out onto the rampway, and Kaz just looked at Daniels, looked at AJ, and backed off and left AJ there to dry. And Samoa Joe Magnus won. I don't like that ending, but I understand and I appreciate it because it's setting up something really great with Kaz and AJ. Those two are amazing talents, and for too long we've seen them as friends, and now we're going to get to see them go at it. That's awesome. And Daniels is in the mix, and I love Christopher Daniels. So there you go. They're doing a lot of good stuff with the tag team belts. Now you got Samoa Joe Magnus versus Crimson and Morgan. That's a phenomenal matchup for a pay-per-view. And it's a good test for Morgan and Crimson because we haven't really seen them defend the belts that much. Then all of a sudden now we also got an emphasis and a build on the X Division, title. They brought in 4 or 5 young new cats to the X Division who are all amazing and have been featured pretty much every week for the last 2 months. Zema Ion, Jesse Sorensen, what's this guy's name? Kid Cash, and Austin Aries, the new champion. And he's going to face the 3 of those guys in a 4-way X Division match at the pay-per-view. And yesterday we had a great tag match with Austin Aries and Kid Cash against Zema Ion and Jesse Sorensen. That's great X Division action. That's going to be amazing. And they've been building towards this. Because Zema Ion and Jesse Sorensen have had a 3-match series over the last 3 weeks. Whoever won that series was going to be the last challenger in that 4-way match. And Zema Ion won it. Not with Jesse Sorensen, I'm sorry, with another X Division wrestler who's also a new guy who's amazing. It kind of reminds me of Chris Masters, but smaller. Anyways, I'm running out of time on this video. I'm going to make a part 2. But like I said, they have an emphasis on all the belts now. And this is a great thing for TNA. So, yo, please check back for Reezonz Wrestling Update Part 2, TNA and WWE. We just getting it started, baby. Holla.